In this chapter, the author introduces the concept of principles and explains their importance in achieving success in various aspects of life. He compares principles to the strategies that successful players use in games to achieve winning results. The author believes that understanding and applying principles effectively can help individuals interact with the world more effectively and achieve better outcomes. He acknowledges that different people may subscribe to different principles, but he shares the principles that have led to the success of his organization, Bridgewater. The author emphasizes that these principles are not meant to be blindly followed, but rather to be reflected upon and tested in one's own experiences. He encourages readers to consider these principles as part of their own process of discovering what works best for them. The chapter concludes by outlining the structure of the book, with Part 1 explaining the importance of principles, Part 2 discussing the author's fundamental life principles, and Part 3 delving into. The author also mentions the possibility of writing about other types of principles, such as investment principles, in the future. In this chapter, the author emphasizes the importance of principles in our lives. He believes that having principles that align with our values is crucial for achieving success and fulfillment. The author encourages readers to reflect on their own principles and consider their origins. He explains that principles serve as guiding beacons that help us make choices and navigate through life's challenges. Without principles, we would be at the mercy of circumstances and unable to make the most of our lives. The author also discusses the significance of shared principles in relationships, highlighting that people with aligned values and principles tend to get along better. He encourages readers to evaluate their closest relationships and assess whether their principles are in harmony. The author emphasizes the importance of personal experiences and reflections in shaping our principles. He suggests that through asking difficult questions and making tough choices, we refine our principles and align them with our core values. The author concludes by inviting readers to join him in thoughtfully discussing and exploring the principles that guide our actions. He acknowledges that while this document represents his own principles, others may have their own principles and ways of determining what is important. Ultimately, the author hopes that readers will develop their own set of principles that resonate with them and lead to personal growth and success. In this chapter, the author shares his most fundamental life principles and where they stem from. He begins by discussing his background, growing up in a middle-class neighborhood, and his early experiences with work and investing in the stock market. Through these experiences, he learned important lessons about confidence, the cost of bad opinions, the importance of independent thinking, and the need to constantly gather information and strengthen. The author also emphasizes the importance of working for what you want, coming up with independent opinions, stress testing those opinions, being wary of overconfidence, and reflecting on the consequences. He shares his own journey of self-discovery and personal growth, from learning how to meditate to starting his own company, Bridgewater. The author believes that truth, or an accurate understanding of reality, is the essential foundation for producing good outcomes. He discusses the importance of facing harsh realities, being truthful with oneself and others, and recognizing and addressing weaknesses. He also emphasizes the need to push one's limits and embrace pain as a necessary part of the learning and growth process. The author concludes by discussing the personal evolutionary process and the importance of making choices that align with one's goals and values. He highlights 5 key choices that can radically affect the quality of one's life and the rate at which they move towards their goals: embracing pain, seeking truth. Overall, the chapter provides valuable insights and practical advice for achieving success and personal growth by embracing reality, learning from mistakes, and making choices that. In this chapter, the author discusses the 5-step process for achieving what you want in life. The first step is setting clear goals, which will determine your direction. The second step is identifying and not tolerating problems that stand in the way of achieving your goals. The third step is diagnosing the root causes of these problems, which requires being calm and logical. The fourth step is designing a plan to overcome these problems and achieve your goals. The fifth and final step is executing the tasks outlined in the plan. The author emphasizes the importance of not losing sight of your goals and constantly referring back to them throughout the process. Additionally, the author encourages seeking help and feedback from others to compensate for any weaknesses in the different steps. The chapter concludes by highlighting the core values and principles that guide the author's approach to achieving success and happiness.